Was this really just a simple mistake, or was it something way more calculated and designed to burn a mother's entire world down? Honestly, you have to wonder if what we just saw was a daughter finally finding her own voice, or if it was a cold-hearted strike meant to destroy Brooke's life. We've watched Hope Logan play the good girl for years, haven't we? She's always been the moral compass, the one trying to do the right thing. But this week, that mask didn't just slip, it completely shattered. The real question we need to ask ourselves today is pretty simple, but also really heavy. Did Hope actually betray Brooke? Or did Brooke's own suffocating expectations leave her daughter with absolutely no other choice? Stick around with me for a bit, because we are about to dive deep into the wreckage of the Logan family. We aren't just looking at a fashion war here. We're talking about a psychological breaking point that might have just landed Brooke Logan in a hospital bed. This is the kind of breakdown that changes every single thing we thought we knew about the show. Let's really look at the stage here, because the context behind this drama is everything. Brooke Logan has spent months basically bullying her own sister Katie about her new company. Think about that for a second. She dismissed Katie's venture like it was a total joke. She called it a tiny house of Logan that could never in a million years compete with a global titan like Forrester Creations. In my opinion, Brooke's arrogance was clearly her first big mistake. She was so busy looking down her nose at Katie that she never even realized her own daughter was building the exact ladder Katie needed to climb right over her. Why did this happen right now? Well, it's all about hubris. Brooke felt totally untouchable as the First Lady of Forrester. She just assumed Hope's loyalty was a given. She thought it was this unbreakable bond forged in her own image. But the truth is that Hope was drowning. She was dragging her feet because she was terrified of the disappointment she knew was coming. Yet she went ahead and signed that contract with Aunt Katie anyway. The funny thing is, this wasn't just a random whim. It was a desperate, messy attempt for Hope to stop being just Brooke's daughter and finally start being Hope Logan. When that runway show was live-streamed globally, it wasn't just a debut for a new clothing line. It was a public execution of Brooke's control. Just imagine that. Hope chose the most public venue possible to defect. Why would she do that? If you look at the psychology of it, it's a classic breakaway move. When a child feels smothered by a parent who has a lot of power, they often pick a dramatic way to announce their independence. They do it because they know a private conversation would just lead to them being manipulated right back into the fold. Hope knew that if she told Brooke in private, her mom would have used guilt as a weapon to talk her out of it. Have you ever felt like you had to do something drastic just to be heard? That's exactly where Hope was. Brooke's reaction was exactly what we expected, but also so much more intense. It wasn't just anger, it was pure anguish. To Brooke, Hope was her mini-me. She was the virtuous version of herself that she could point to whenever the Forresters brought up her own scandalous past. By having Hope defect to Katie, the sister Brooke has always treated like a junior partner. Brooke loses her moral anchor. She feels totally gutted. The sting is so much worse because the truth landed right in front of the entire fashion world. I want to give you a unique angle on this because I don't think it's just about the dresses. This is about the Logan brand. Brooke has always seen herself as the gatekeeper of what it means to be a Logan. When Katie poached Hope, she didn't just steal a designer. She stole the actual future of the Logan legacy. Brooke's fury comes from the fact that she can no longer define what Logan means on her own terms. Katie and Hope are out there redefining it without asking for her permission. In my opinion, Hope is totally right to leave, even if the way she did it was pretty brutal. You don't usually ambush your mother on a global live stream if you want to keep a good relationship, right? But Katie's point is so valid. She gave Hope the opportunity to succeed, which is way more than the tiny crumb Steffi was throwing her way at Forrester. Brooke is acting like she's the only victim here, but she's really just a gatekeeper who finally got outplayed. Let's talk about Brooke's ego for a minute, because it's a huge part of this. She spent weeks begging Ridge to greenlight Hope's line, hope for the future, but he just wouldn't do it. Brooke even tried to become a CEO herself just so she could launch Hope's career on her own terms. Does that sound like support to you? Or does it sound like a toxic level of enmeshment? Brooke didn't want Hope to succeed independently. She wanted to be the literal source of that success, When Hope took a different path, she severed that connection. Now Brooke is going through what looks like a major narcissistic injury. She literally cannot process a world where she isn't the hero of her daughter's story. The conflict doesn't just stay between the mother and the daughter, though. Brooke marches straight over to Katie's company, and she is loaded for bear. This is a total masterclass in sisterly venom. Brooke doesn't just ask for an explanation. She demands that the entire operation be shut down immediately. She actually said the words, "This is not happening." Can you believe the nerve of that? Brooke is trying to use her seniority in the family to override a legal business contract. She's out there looking for loopholes, wondering if Hope is in breach for working at two companies at once. This just shows how desperate she really is. She would rather sue her own daughter and her own sister than admit that they have actually outgrown her. Katie is standing her ground in a way we haven't seen in a long time. She's tired of being the sister Brooke gets to bully. There is this triumphant energy in Katie's victory lap. She isn't just winning a business war, she's winning the war for respect within her own family. She told Brooke straight up that she gave Hope what Brooke couldn't. This whole thing is about birth order and power dynamics. Brooke assumes she has a veto over everyone else's life, but Katie is finally refusing to play the role of the obedient younger sibling. This sister war is really the result of decades of suppressed resentment finally bubbling over. Now the tension is reaching a fever pitch. By the end of the week, Brooke's anguish leads to a dramatic breaking point. The spoilers are hinting that this isn't just a shouting match. We're talking about a physical crisis, maybe even a full-on collapse or a medical episode. I end the world of soaps. A physical collapse is the ultimate way to show psychological trauma. Brooke's body might literally be shutting down because her mind can't handle the reality of Hope's betrayal. She's a woman who prides herself on being resilient, but this detonation from the inside is something she was never ready for. But let's look at this another way. Could this collapse be Brooke's final attempt to get her control back? If she can't control Hope with logic or threats, she might unconsciously try to control her through guilt. If Brooke is lying in a hospital bed, Hope can't exactly celebrate being a successful designer. She has to be the grieving daughter. It changes the whole story. Suddenly, Hope isn't the hero of her own life. She's the girl who broke her mother. I have to be honest with you. This feels like classic Brooke-Logan manipulation, even if she isn't doing it on purpose. The second things don't go her way, the entire universe has to stop for her. Hope is already feeling incredibly guilty. She was having panic attacks before this even went public. A medical emergency is only going to bury her deeper in that shame. Brooke isn't going down without a fight, though. She issues a shocking ultimatum to Hope. She basically says it's the fashion line or it's her mother. She's taking a stand and saying this will only happen over her dead body. This is the ultimate split between a mother and a daughter. This ultimatum is a massive mistake on Brooke's part, don't you think? When you force someone to choose between their passion and their parent, you usually just prove to them exactly why they wanted to leave in the first place. Brooke is showing everyone that she is an obstacle to Hope's growth instead of being a supporter. The Forresters are all scrambling to do damage control now. Ridge and RJ are genuinely terrified because they know Brooke is a loose cannon when she's hurting. This Logan Forrester war has officially gone nuclear. It's not just about fashion anymore. It's about whose side you are on. Even Eric is feeling deeply hurt by the silence in the house. So, what do you think is going to happen next? I have a few predictions about the future impact of all this. First, I think the medical twist is real. Brooke's collapse will lead to a diagnosis that forces Hope to step back from the Logan line for a bit. This is going to create huge friction with Katie, who will see it as Brooke's final play to sabotage the company. Then there's the Bridge divorce to consider. Brooke is already blaming Ridge for this mess. She thinks that if he had just listened to her and greenlit Hope's line at Forrester, none of this would be happening. That resentment is like a slow poison for their marriage. Ridge might even try to beg Hope to come back just so he can get back on Brooke's good side. How will Brooke's health crisis affect Hope's decision? Is this medical crisis a legitimate health emergency, or is it actually the ultimate biological weapon of maternal guilt? We really have to ask ourselves if Brooke Logan's body is shutting down because of genuine trauma, or if her subconscious is simply pulling the emergency brake to stop her daughter from leaving the station. It's the kind of high-stakes drama that makes you wonder where the medical reality ends and the psychological manipulation begins, doesn't it? If Hope Logan finally chooses herself over her mother's legacy, will that be the thing that actually breaks Brooke for good? Or is Brooke just using her own health to force a stay of execution on Hope's independence? This is exactly the kind of mess we need to untangle today. The Logan family isn't just facing a fashion crisis, they are facing a total structural collapse that might change the face of the show forever. Think about the sheer intensity of the situation we just witnessed on our screens, because the context here is absolutely vital to understanding why Brooke is currently spiraling toward a hospital bed. For months, Brooke has been treating her sister Katie like a minor inconvenience. She's basically been bullying her and dismissing her new fashion venture as if it were a high school project. Brooke was so blinded by her own arrogance at Forrester Creations that she never even noticed the detonation being planned right under her nose. Analysis tells us this happened because Brooke viewed her daughter Hope as an extension of herself rather than an individual person with her own ambitions. She assumed Hope's loyalty was a permanent fixture, like a piece of furniture in the CEO office. But she failed to realize that Hope was actually suffering and hyperventilating from the pressure. Brooke's refusal to see Hope's unhappiness is exactly what triggered this nuclear fallout. You can only corner a person for so long before they decide to burn the room down just to find an exit. When we look at why Hope acted this way, it's clear that the ambush on the runway was a survival tactic, not just a career move. Psychologically, Hope was trapped in a state of enmeshment with Brooke where her own sparkle was being extinguished. She chose the most public venue possible, a global live stream, because she knew that a private conversation with Brooke would only end in her being manipulated back into submission. By making her defection a public spectacle, she effectively took away Brooke's ability to sabotage the move behind closed doors. My opinion is that Hope had to be this brutal because any smaller move would have been absorbed and neutralized by the Forrester machine. Do you think Hope was being cruel, or was she just being a surgeon performing a necessary, albeit painful, amputation of her mother's control? The internal state of these characters is where the real story lives. Think about it. Hope was racked with guilt long before the models even hit the runway. She was having many panic attacks because she knew that her success would be her mother's anguish. Imagine the emotional weight of knowing that your biggest professional achievement is going to be the thing that potentially sends your mother into a medical episode. Brooke, on the other hand, isn't just angry. She's experiencing a narcissistic injury because her mini-me has officially developed a mind of her own. Brooke relies on Hope to be the virtuous version of herself, and without that mirror, Brooke doesn't know who she is anymore. This is why she turned into a loose cannon, because when your identity is tied to someone else's obedience, their independence feels like an actual physical assault. I want to offer a unique interpretation of this health crisis that goes beyond just a fainting spell, because I think Brooke's collapse is actually a biological veto. If Brooke can't win the argument with logic or ultimatums, her subconscious mind might be creating a physical emergency to force Hope back into the role of the caretaker. It reframes the entire power dynamic. Hope can't be a successful designer at a rival company if she's too busy sitting by a hospital bed feeling like a murderer. It's a brilliant, if involuntary, move by Brooke to regain the high ground. I honestly disagree with the idea that Brooke is a pure victim here because she's the one who issued the shocking ultimatum in the first place. You can't tell your child it's me or the job and then act shocked when the stress of that choice breaks both of you. Looking at the psychological layer, we're seeing a massive collision between ego and trauma. Brooke's ego is tied to being the First Lady of Forrester, and Katie's poaching of Hope is a direct hit to that status. Brooke is lashing out with sisterly venom because she feels like the hierarchy of the Logan family is being overturned. Katie, meanwhile, is acting out of years of being the junior partner. She's finally proving that she can provide the opportunity to succeed that Brooke was gatekeeping. This isn't just a business war. It's a battle for validation and voice. Every time Brooke screams, "This is not happening," she's actually saying, "I am losing my power." That realization is what's truly making her sick. The escalation of this conflict is only going to get darker as the week progresses. It'll get especially bad when Brooke realizes she can't just shut down Katie's line with a legal loophole. The tension is building toward a dramatic breaking point where the shouting stops and the sirens start. We're seeing Ridge and RJ paralyzed by fear because they know that Brooke at her limit is a danger to herself and everyone around her. My prediction is that Brooke's medical crisis will result in a temporary memory lapse or a stress-induced condition that forces Hope to stay at the mansion. This effectively makes her a prisoner of her own conscience. This will create an even bigger rift between Brooke and Katie, as Katie will see through the crisis as a tactical move to sabotage the Hope by Logan launch. The future impact of this is going to be a total realignment of the families. If Brooke's health remains fragile, it will turn Hope's triumph into a vigil. That is exactly what the Forresters need to contain the damage to their brand. However, actress Annika Noel has teased that this could be a transformation for Hope. I predict that instead of caving, Hope might actually double down. She might realize that if her mother's love is conditional on her professional submission, then that love is actually a shackle she needs to break. The consequences will be massive. We're looking at a potential Ridge divorce because Brooke will never forgive Ridge for not stopping this, and Ridge will never forgive Brooke for making their daughter choose between them. Before we finish, I have to ask you, do you think Brooke's health crisis is a genuine reaction to betrayal, or is it a subconscious way to manipulate Hope back into the family business? Also, should Hope abandon her new career to save her relationship with her mother, or is the price of that relationship way too high at this point? This story is proving that in the world of the Logans and Forresters, blood might be thicker than water, but ambition is a lot sharper than both. Brooke Logan has always been a survivor, but this time her biggest threat isn't a rival or a scandal. It's the daughter she tried to keep in her shadow for too long. If Hope stands her ground, she might lose her mother, but if she caves, she definitely loses herself. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button so you never miss a single update on the fallout of this runway ambush. Drop a comment below and tell me whose side you're on in this sister war. Are you Team Brooke or Team Katie? Thanks for watching, and stay tuned as we continue to track every twist and turn in this nuclear Logan Forrester war. You know, the crazy part is how the fans are reacting to all this. Brooke is losing fan support faster than ever after this shocking meltdown. As soon as she saw Hope take to that runway, she didn't wait a second. She ran straight to the Logan showroom to confront Katie for stealing her daughter. She called her sister cruel and underhanded. She even accused Katie of being so jealous that she wanted everything Brooke had. First, she said Katie tricked Eric, and now she had taken Hope. But the funny thing is, Brooke didn't even bother to ask Hope why she chose to leave Forrester. Katie tried to explain that at Logan, Hope actually felt valued and in control. You'd think Brooke would be happy for her daughter, but no, she didn't see it that way at all. Instead, she picked up a heavy object and hurled it toward that big screen with the words "Hope" by Logan on it. The screen shattered, and it feels like her relationship with Katie shattered right along with it. Fans on social media are calling Brooke's energy crazed and unhinged. Some are even saying she should see Taylor for her anger issues, which is hilarious given their history. Even people who have championed Brooke for 40 years are saying she's become unlikable. They're saying she's finally filling Stephanie Forrester's shoes, and it won't be long before we see strangulations and fake heart attacks. It's so hypocritical when you think about it. Brooke is screaming about betrayal when she's famous for sleeping with her sisters' and daughters' husbands. One fan summed it up perfectly. Brooke is guilty of stalking, harassment, assault, and vandalism. And let's not forget the drama at the Forrester mansion. Eric is absolutely furious with Donna for keeping Hope secret. He told her straight out that she should have chosen him over her sister. Donna tried to be reasonable, saying she didn't think it would affect Forrester, and she was just trying to do the right thing. She even apologized and said she messed up, but Eric just walked away and glared at her. It's such a mess. Hope is sitting there with Liam, excited but also terrified of how her mother will react. She's worried she's destroyed her closest family relationships for good. And Brooke is out here declaring war, vowing to rescue Hope as if she'd been kidnapped. "You can't stop me," she tells Katie. But seriously, what does Brooke think she's going to do? Hope is a grown woman. Is this whole thing just Brooke's ego getting in the way of her daughter's success?